Anyway, let's put all that to one side.
Yeah.
Let's start with Nuno, because if you look at the table, they're not in a horrendous position, right?
No.
They're, what, seventh? Something like that? Sixth or
yeah.
seventh, right? But that's kind of modulated by the fact that they won their first 3 games.
Yeah.
All of them 1-0, generally not playing particularly well. So if you take that out of it, I think it's something like 6 points in the last 8 games, something like that.
Newcastle and Aston Villa. I can tell you that because I checked before the show.
That's a relegation clip.
Exactly. And it's not good enough. And the performances, sometimes you don't get the result that your performances should get you, and you play well. For example, you create a lot and you still don't get, for whatever reasons, a win or a draw. But in this case, the results were not good, or not good enough certainly, or too inconsistent. But the performances, I think, were even worse than the result. Even against Villa, even at Newcastle, it was just not good enough. So I think when you put those two together, plus the sort of toxic atmosphere that was at the stadium on Saturday, I was there, makes it inevitable that I think they realised that it was the wrong guy, that it just never gonna, it would have never worked. I don't see how he could have turned things around now.
Yeah, I think he did good work at Wolves in a certain structure, you know, together with George Mendes, having a certain quality of player that was in there, but also a club that was very settled, generally well run. Whatever you think of the owners, and as you know, I have serious issues with the way that club is set up, but, you know, it did work well. And he had a bumpy start, and then he got stronger and stronger, and it worked. Here,
Up to the last season, because the last season was already going
on the
down.
way down, Here, though, you know, we have all the mitigating circumstances. I mean, we've mentioned them time and again, right? Kane, lack of spending, blah, 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 and so on. Not a very good team to begin with.
Yeah, they're not very good.
But maybe it was always he was appointed very late. Maybe it was always going to be difficult for him. He didn't show, though, that he was able to make any kind of difference or move the needle, right?
No, yeah, completely.
I mean, between that and the fans, I think is...
Yeah, and I was at the game on Saturday when the fourth referee put up his board for the substitution straight after halftime of Lucas Moura, the whole stadium just erupted. It was the boos and the whistling and everything. And you
What, they don't like Steven Bergwijn? Was that it?
No, but Lucas was the best player. Lucas was the best player. He by that time he had the most dribble completed. The most take-ons. I think he even recovered the ball more than any other Spurs player. He created a couple of half chances or good moves or something like that. It was the last player that you should have taken off at that time, and already the atmosphere was a bit iffy. But after that, it changed completely. And then that's where they started singing "You Don't Know What You're Doing," and then at the end we want Nuno out. But there's no way back from that. And for him to get that one wrong, I was like, what is he doing? This was completely stupid. Again, you can make good choices and put stuff in place and it doesn't work out for whatever reason and you don't get rewarded for what you've done. But that was crazy. For him to do that, they were 1-0 down at that stage of the game, straight after, literally 7 minutes after the break. It was like, this is crazy. You're asking for the trouble now.
Yeah, look, I don't find him particularly charismatic or likable and whatever. But I think that didn't help. I don't think he was able to form that connection with the fans, give them any kind of sense that they were traveling in the right direction. There is a deeper frustration here, a much, much deeper frustration. And I think it's going to affect Daniel Levy as well, as they now try to figure out who's going to replace him longer term. It's inevitable. Juventus' director of football is Fabio Paratici, who took over in the summer, formerly Juventus. Paratici, everybody knows, is very tight with Antonio Conte. Tried to bring him back to Juventus numerous times. Inevitably, that name will be circulating. I have serious reservations about the viability of this.
And why would Conte go now when he didn't want to go in the summer? What would be different for him? If you're in his shoes, what would make the difference?
That is one of the big questions. There's also the fact that Conte always said he didn't want to take over teams in mid-season. There's also the fact that if I'm Conte, I look around and say, there could be bigger jobs coming up than Spurs. No disrespect.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.